In tibia, this is the upper end, this is the lower end of the tibia. This is the another bone in tibia that, with leg, that is fibula. So we will make a fracture at the upper end of the tibia. This is called osteotomy. So now your two ends will be like this. Your two ends will be like this. This is the fracture. This thing is called osteotomy. That has been discovered way back by this great doctor. That is called Hello friends, I am Dr. Sunil Saini, trauma Ilizarov surgeon, expert in limb lengthening, deformity correction and pain management. In our introductory video, you have seen about how limb lengthening is getting evolved from the World War until date, and how different nails are coming, different methods are coming. And in today's videos, this is the second video where we will see about what is the science behind limb lengthening. So all the friends who are basically planning for structural limb lengthening or cosmetic limb lengthening, or those who have limb length discrepancies or deformity, this is the most important video where you will understand what is the science, how it is happening, is it possible to lengthen a bone, and if it is possible, how, what is the science behind limb lengthening, how it is becoming, like how we are lengthening that thing. So you will get total insight about this limb lengthening science. This is one of our patients where we have shown the limb lengthening over nail methods. In next video, we will discuss about various methods, and this is the lengthening of femur which we have done. This is immediately post-operative case. So we should always be thankful to this gentleman, Dr. G.A. Ilizarov, who has discovered the science, we discovered the method, and that we call as distraction osteogenesis. During World War II, there are a lot of soldiers who were suffering for a lot of amputations were done, non-union were there, malunion were there, the shortening of limb was there, and there was gap non-union. And during that only, this gentleman discovered that method of distraction osteogenesis, where after making a fracture in a bone, you can make new bone, or you can even lengthen the bone. So we should always be thankful to this great doctor, Dr. G.A. Ilizarov, who has discovered this method of distraction osteogenesis. This is the whole method. Means when we put a distraction, when after making a fracture in a bone, the method that is called osteotomy scientifically, or you can understand like making a fracture in a bone, and then we start distracting these two ends of the bones at a specific rate, that is most important, then there is new bone formation takes place. So the method is osteotomy. When we make a fracture in the bone, friends, whenever we are going for limb lengthening surgeries, what we do, basically we are considering cosmetic limb lengthening or structural limb lengthening with limb length discrepancy. If you have limb length discrepancy also, we are basically talking about the lower segment. Whether you are going for femur or you are going for tibia, everything will remain same. Method will remain same only. First and most important step which we are going to do in these surgeries is osteotomy. So osteotomy is basically, you can understand, making a fracture in the bone. In tibia, and next I will show in femur also. In tibia, this is the upper end, this is the lower end of the tibia. This is the another bone in tibia that, with leg, that is fibula. So we will make a fracture at the upper end of the tibia. This is called osteotomy. So now your two ends will be like this. Your two ends will be like this. This is the fracture. This thing is called osteotomy. That has been discovered way back by this great doctor. That is called osteotomy. And now when we start distracting these two bones at a specific rate, the new bone formation will take place. Now this distraction can be taken place with the help of Ilizarov. If I put a Ilizarov ring like this, any instrument we can put, but mostly uses Ilizarov, that way where we call it pure Ilizarov method. And when we start distracting at a specific rate, so what will happen? Because of this distraction, the new vascularization will take place. The blood supply to this area will increase, number one. As a result of this, all the chemicals which are responsible for making a bone like calcium, phosphorus, everything will start accumulating in this area. So over the period, we will see that after this distraction, which has created a force and which will lead to increase in vascularity in this area, the new bone formation will take place. And this new bone which is formed in this area is called regenerate. So we'll go to the next slide. In femur also, same thing will happen in the femur. When we talk about the femur, in femur, we will make a fracture in this area, that is, we'll make a osteotomy. We will put a nail inside if you are going for lengthening method, and then we will put the frame. We will put the frame. And when we start distracting these two ends at the rate of 1 to 1.5 mm per day, this distraction force will lead to a specific force, as a result of which the blood vascularity to this area will increase. That is called neovascularization. As a result of this, all the chemicals you can understand in a normal language, that all the things which are responsible for making a bone will start accumulating in this area. So that is the method. Now here you can see, similarly we have shown in this method, whether there are various methods of limb lengthening. It can be pure Ilizarov method, it can be lengthening over nail, it can be internal nail method. The science will always remain the same. When we go for pure Ilizarov method, we are making a cut in this area, and after making the cut, that is osteotomy, we will put the Ilizarov frame, and we will start distracting. As a result of this, the new bone which is getting formed in this area, the new bone which is formed, this is called regenerate. This new bone is called regenerate. This new bone is called regenerate. Similarly, same thing will happen in the lengthening over nail method. This is lengthening over nail method. In femur, we have put the nail, we make a fracture, and then this is the LRS, limb rail system. When we are going for femur lengthening, then we didn't go for Ilizarov. We will put the limb rail system, and then we'll start distracting. This will lead to new bone formation, and this new bone formation is called regenerate. Similarly, this is the lengthening over nail method in tibia, where we make the fracture in the tibia, that is osteotomy, and then we there is a nail inside, and when we are distracting, this will lead to new bone formation. So most important slide which we need to understand here is that whenever we are making, these are the steps of surgery. In surgery, we are making corticotomy or osteotomy. The fracture which we are creating, that is called osteotomy or corticotomy. Therefore, I always give very much emphasis on this. This is the most important steps of the surgery. That is the heart of the surgery. If you are not doing it properly, then it doesn't matter what you are doing in physio or later on, but the lengthening will not be proper, or the regenerate quality will affect on this. So we have to be very cautious about it, and whenever we are doing with a minimum injury to the bone, then there will be a latency period, then there will be a distraction period, and then there will be consolidation period. This is the most important slide which you need to understand when you are planning for limb lengthening, that you have gone the surgery. After surgery, that is during the surgery, we are creating a fracture, that is called osteotomy, and then we are putting a machine, whatever you call, whether the Ilizarov frame. When you're putting Ilizarov frame, it is called pure Ilizarov method. Along with that, if you're putting a nail, that is called lengthening over nail method. If there is no Ilizarov, only nail, that is called internal nail method. But all these points will always remain same. So once the surgery is complete, you need to understand these three important phases, and these three important phases will vary from method to method. First and most important is latency period. What is latency phase? In latency phase, you are admitted, we have done the surgery, and after surgery, the period during which we need to wait so that we can start before the distraction, that is called latency phase. So friend, lastly, this is the most important slide which you need to understand, because this is your journey from limb lengthening starting till end. That is the phases of bone formation. You can consider it to phases of lengthening also. From admission, you have done the surgery, and the time period before starting limb lengthening. Now surgery has been done, but limb lengthening has not been started. So time period between limb lengthening, starting of limb lengthening, and post surgery is called latency phase. The period which you need to take rest before lengthening is started, that is called latency phase, which usually is 7 days. Post latency phase, we usually start limb lengthening, that is called distraction phase. In this distraction phase, there is a specific rate at which we need to distract. That is usually 1 mm to 1.5 mm, but we usually keep the pace at 1 mm per day. During this period, you need to take nutrient food, you need to take good food, exercises, physio, rehabilitation, everything is very, very important, because during this phase, all new bone formation will take place. This newborn form is called regenerate, and it depends on a lot of things. What is the quality of regenerate coming, not only on surgery, but physio, your diet, everything need to be taken care. That is called distraction phase. And once your lengthening, desired length is complete, then you enter into a consolidation phase. This is very, very important phase, because during this phase, the regenerate, that is a new bone which is formed, it will undergo remodeling and it will become strong over the period of time. So whenever the consolidation phase is usually thrice the time of lengthening period, that you need to keep in mind. So whenever you are planning, you need to consider this much of period, this much of time you will be needing, so that you can complete your lengthening process without any hassle. There will be latency period of minimum 7 days post surgery. Then there's a distraction phase which is usually 1 mm. If you're planning for 7 centimeter, it will usually be around 80 to 90 days, because we cannot go all the time at the same rate. And finally there's a consolidation phase, which is thrice the time of this, thrice the time of lengthening, during which your bone, your callus which is forming is become strong, and you will be able to walk, you will be able to later over the period, at the end of the consolidation phase, even you will be able to jump, running, everything is possible. But this much of time you need to give, that you need to understand, that you need to plan. If you are working somewhere, then you need to plan accordingly. If you need to stay away from your family, you need to plan accordingly. That's why I said this is the most important slide, where you need to know the exact period, and it is not always rigid, it is not always fixed. Sometimes you always need to keep a bit more time period for you, so that nothing is done in hassle and you complete your lengthening without any complications. Because many a times when we are lengthening, and if you are in pain, then we need to decrease the rate of limb lengthening. So this is the most important slide and most important journey through which we will go. So in the coming video, please subscribe our channel, because the coming video is very important. We will take the different methods of limb lengthening. There's Ilizarov method, lengthening over nail method, internal methods, lengthening and then nailing, lengthening and then plating. We will go into details of each and every methods. And so friends, today we have discussed about science behind the limb lengthening. In the next video, we are going to discuss about various methods of limb lengthening. So whether method will be Ilizarov, or whether you are going for Ilizarov method, whether you are going for lengthening over nail method, whether you are going for internal method, these phases will remain same. You need to keep this thing in mind, so that you can plan accordingly. How much period you are going to need, how much time you are going to need, what are the phases through which you are going. Because you need to understand, if you are going for cosmetic limb lengthening, it's not like that it's a fracture. It's like you are totally normal before the surgery. Just before the surgery, you are normal, walking, everything you are doing, and immediately after surgery, you are dependent on someone, you're on the bed. So it's a psychological game. You need to, that's why you need to do your own research. You need to ask the questions wherever you are doing your limb lengthening. You yourself do a lot of research, read the genuine papers, go through all the genuine papers. Don't just go by the advertisements that you can lengthen a single segment by 10 centimeter, 12 centimeter. That is not possible. You will end up in deformities. That's why you need to do your own research. You can come to our center, you can ask any question, whatever you want. We will give you scientific data. This is the only channel where limb lengthening surgeon himself giving all the information. That's why don't worry about any of the genuinity of the information. All the information which we are giving is of international standard. The protocols which are being followed at other centers also. Whatever method you are choosing, the phases will remain same, but the method to method, the last consolidation phase will vary. If you are friends planning for limb lengthening or cosmetic limb lengthening surgery, or if you have any limb length discrepancy, you can contact us. You can drop the message to us. You can send your reports, or if you have any query, contact us on this number, as well as you can subscribe our channel, so that you can get all the genuine information about limb lengthening. So friends, do subscribe our channel, like our video, and please share the videos. Thank you so much.